Chapter 13. Unfortunate news. Sasuke and Suigetsu had spread the word of Konohagakure's newest couple like wildfire. Within the week everyone, including Jiraiya and Tsunade, knew about their relationship. Naturally, Tsunade was the worst one about teasing them both. They had both just gotten back from an escort mission when they arrived at the Hokage's office. As soon as they arrived they saw the smirk on Tsunade's face, making Tayayu groan, knowing she was going to be teasing them. Tsunade leaned back in her chair. So, how did the young lovebirds' mission go? Tayayu narrowed her eyes at Tsunade as Naruto scratched the back of his head. Tayayu didn't like being teased. She was happy to be dating Naruto but loathed the teasing she received. Naruto looked at Tsunade. The mission was a success, Ba-chan. Escort complete for the land of Wind Daimyo. Tsunade smiled and nodded her head. So, anything fun happen on the mission, Tayayu? Tayayu growled as she looked at the Hokage. What are you trying to say, you old hag? Tsunade narrowed her eyes as she glared at the young Kunoichi. What did you do with my son, girl? Tayayu smirked as she looked at Tsunade. I rocked his world. Tsunade looked at Naruto. That isn't true, is it, Naruto? Naruto went to say something but Tayayu interrupted him. It is true, right, shithead-kun? Naruto froze. Whichever answer he gave her he would be hit. So he decided that he didn't want to answer the question, just pretend he didn't hear them. Both women looked at him. Naruto, shithead, answer the question. Naruto groaned. But, no matter what answer I give, someone is going to hit me. Tayayu narrowed her eyes at him. What was rule 1, shithead? Naruto looked at her. That Tayayu-chan is always right. Tayayu nodded her head at him. Now, answer the question. Naruto whimpered. It's true, Ba-chan. Tsunade's glare shifted between the two of them, not sure whether or not she should believe Naruto or not. Her gaze shifted between them some more, then she smiled. She knew that it wasn't true from the way Naruto was looking at her. Tsunade looked at them. Okay, well, was he any good then, Tayayu, or did you have to do all the work? Is he well endowed? Did he make you scream his name? Naruto's eyes were wide and he had a beet red face. Tayayu had a matching expression as Tsunade continued to smile at them. Tsunade looked at her. Well, aren't you going to answer me, Tayayu? Tayayu wasn't one to admit to defeat though. What kind of pervert wants to know that about someone that they consider to be their son? God damn, you're a fucking pervert, you old hag. Tsunade narrowed her eyes as Tayayu grabbed Naruto's hand. Come on, shithead-kun, let's leave this damn pervert alone. Naruto nodded, happy to get out of the very uncomfortable situation that he was in. Tayayu pulled him out by the hand, then stopped before going back in and grabbing the money they were owed. As she grabbed the money she smiled. He was amazing, so you know, you old hag of a pervert. Tsunade's eyes widened. Wait, were they telling the truth? Tayayu walked out of the Hokage's office and gave Naruto his half of the money, then smiled at him. Naruto looked at her. Why did you lie to her, Tayayu-chan? Tayayu looked at him. That's obvious, shithead-kun, because I found it fucking hilarious. She always teases me, so I should get some fucking fun out of it. Naruto shook his head as he smiled at her. Sometimes I worry about you, beautiful. Tayayu blushed as she always did when he called her beautiful. She looked at him. Didn't I tell you not to call me that? Naruto smiled at her. Yes, but I told you that I was going to call you beautiful when you call me shithead-kun. Tayayu glared at him. Sometimes I hate you. Shithead-kun. Naruto smiled at her. What about the other times, Tayayu-chan? Tayayu looked at him and rose her eyebrow. That is when I just dislike you. Naruto frowned at the answer but opened the door for her. One day, Tayayu-chan, one day I will get you to be more open with me. Tayayu smiled as she looked at him, then walked out of the door. Unlikely, shithead-kun. Naruto smirked as she walked out. Just you wait and see, Tayayu-chan, I will get you to eventually. Tayayu smiled as she walked out the door. Maybe someday, Naruto-kun. Naruto walked out after her and they were stopped by Jiraiya, who had a more serious look on his face. Naruto looked at him, then he nodded his head. The time has come, Naruto. Naruto sighed as he nodded his head. So, they have started to make their moves, huh? Jiraiya nodded, then looked at Tayayu. Do you want to have this conversation somewhere else, Naruto, or is it okay if she knows? Naruto looked at Tayayu. Yeah, she can know. She would be upset if I hid something like this from her anyways. Chiyuya rose her eyebrow at the comment, tell me what shithead. Naruto smiled at her then grabbed her hand, come on Chiyuya-chan, we will tell you in a more private setting. Chiyuya nodded as they walked back to Naruto's apartment with Jiraiya. When they arrived Naruto got everyone a drink then sighed as he sat down. He looked his red-headed girlfriend dead in the eye, you know that I am the Jinchuriki for the Kyuubi. Chiyuya nodded her head as she looked at him, well, you see. There's this group. Called Akatsuki. Chiyuya nodded her head, yeah the snake pervert used to be in that group, something about wanting to control the world or some bullshit like that. Naruto scratched his head, well, that is something that I am sure they want but, it isn't what they desire more than anything. Chiyuya rose her eyebrow at him again, what is it that they desire more than anything then shithead-kun? Naruto smiled sheepishly at her, what they want is, the tailed beasts. Chiyuya narrowed her eyes at him, the tailed beasts, as in the 9 tails. As in you, Naruto scratched the back of his head, yeah, as in me. Jiraiya-sensei and I kept a close eye on them while we were training but they never made a move while we were gone. Apparently they are starting to make their move now though, and they will more than likely start with the 1 tail. Gaara. Chiyuya continued to look at him, how long have you known about this group? Naruto looked at her, knowing that the answer was going to make her mad. Naruto looked over at Jiraiya who waved his hands, enjoying this far too much to save his blonde disciple. Naruto laughed nervously, well, I may have known a couple days before I left. Chiyuya growled at him then slapped him multiple times, bad boyfriend. Bad, 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 you don't keep anything from me. Especially major things like that. Bad. Naruto looked at her, I didn't want you to worry though Chiyuya-chan. She narrowed her eyes, what did you think was going to happen? I wasn't going to find out eventually. Bad. She slapped him again and Naruto sighed, I am sorry Chiyuya-chan, I just don't want you taking unnecessary risks for me. Chiyuya went to hit him again but stopped herself with a sigh, idiot. Of course I would take unnecessary risks for you, you're not only my boyfriend but my best friend. You would take unnecessary risks for me wouldn't you? Naruto nodded his head at her, of course I would Chiyuya-chan, in a heartbeat. Chiyuya nodded her head at him, I know that you would, that is why I would do the same thing for you, you mean, a lot to me. Chiyuya said the last part softly, though everyone heard her say it. Naruto gave her a soft and kind smile as he looked at her, you mean a lot to me too Chiyuya-chan, that is why I don't want you taking these risks. Chiyuya blushed as she looked at him, if I mean a lot to you then you know why I have to be willing to take those risks for you. Naruto looked at her then looked over at Jiraiya, honestly, we both know that she won't quit Naruto. The best thing that you can do is to help get her ready for the fights that you two are going to have to face. Naruto sighed as he nodded his head then looked back over at his red-headed girlfriend. All he could do was give her a kind smile, alright Chiyuya-chan, you win. Chiyuya nodded her head as she continued to sit there, what else do you know about this group then shithead-kun? Naruto looked at her, all we really know is that there are 9 active members in the group, since Orochimaru no longer is in it. Their leader is a mystery and there are a lot of dangerous people in the group. People like Itachi Uchiha, the man who slaughtered the Uchiha clan. We also know that each one of them are S-ranked criminals and fear very few people. Chiyuya looked at him, the expression that she had on her face Naruto thought was one that was of calculating and processing all the information he gave her. Jiraiya knew the look though, it was one of concern and it was the right expression. People would fight battles they aren't ready for, do things they never thought they would have to do to keep Naruto safe. Naruto knew that he was going to be pushed to and past his limits, he was prepared for that. From what Naruto understood if the Akatsuki got their hands on all of the tailed beasts then that was the end of it all. Everyone and everything that he cared about would be lost, under the Akatsuki's rule. People he knew and cared about, like Chiyuya, wouldn't be willing to take that laying down. People like her would resist and inevitably die with S-ranked criminals having control of the tailed beasts. Naruto sighed then he gave Chiyuya a small smile, I know that it is a lot to take in Chiyuya-chan, but I figured that it was about time that I told you. Chiyuya nodded her head as she looked at her own hands then stood up. Naruto looked at her, somewhat expecting her to start to hit him again. Naruto watched as she looked at him, Come along shithead-kun, we are going to go and train. Naruto nodded his head then looked at Jiraiya, get out. I know you too well Jiraiya-sensei and I know I can't trust you in my apartment while I am not here. Jiraiya smiled then patted Naruto on his shoulder before disappearing in a swirl of leaves. Naruto walked out after Tayayu and followed her to the training field that they always used. Tayayu stood across from him. Are you around the same power level as these Akatsuki guys? Naruto shrugged. Never had to fight one. Jiraiya-sensei says that I am at least close to their level when I am going on full cylinders. When I have more control over Kyuubi then I will be able to beat them. Tayayu nodded her head. Okay, then from now on you aren't going to hold back in training. I need to understand how much of a gap there truly is, how much I need to improve. Naruto just gave her a look of disapproval, obviously not fond of the idea. Tayayu just looked back at him, knowing what he was thinking. She reached back into her pouch then threw a shuriken at him that he caught between his fingers. He dropped it to the ground. What if I say no Tayayu-chan? Tayayu opened up a small holster that was next to her pouch and out slipped her flute. Then I won't be as prepared as I need to be in battle against them. Naruto looked at her. That statement pretty much made it so that he would have to give her what she wanted and they both knew it. He wasn't willing to take the chance of losing her in a battle with the Akatsuki because he held back in their sparring. He sighed as he nodded his head. Fine Tayayu-chan, but when you get hurt don't blame me. Tayayu smirked. That's if you can hurt em. Her sentence was interrupted by a kneecap to her stomach from a fast blonde blur. Naruto flashed behind her, catching her body as they landed on the ground. Tayayu gasped for air finally then looked back at Naruto. You're too slow to react Tayayu-chan. Tayayu glared then kicked away from him to put distance between the two of them once again. Naruto just looked at her as she lifted her flute and quickly started to play it. He felt the same effects the first time that she used this genjutsu but he broke through it quicker this time. He walked towards her. Genjutsu isn't as effective against people with extreme chakra reserves like myself. People with the Sharingan such as Itachi Uchiha are genjutsu users as well. He is famed for it, said to be one of the best genjutsu users alive. Tayayu took a step back as Naruto continued to walk towards her. For a minute she could have sworn she feared Naruto. His emotionless look on his face, the sheer power she had experienced from his knee as well as the ability to break her genjutsu like it was nothing. Naruto gave a sinister smile. You're scared aren't you Tayayu-chan? Fear is good. It makes you know that you're human, makes you understand that you have something on the line in battle. Motivates you to keep you alive. Tayayu took another step back as Naruto stood right in front of her. She hadn't seen this side of Naruto since the first day they met. What are you afraid of then shithead-kun? Naruto's face remained stoic, unflinching and cold. He looked into her eyes. Myself and you. Tayuyu's eyes shifted between his eyes. Why? Naruto just looked at her. I am afraid of losing control of myself, giving into my darkness and rage. That would give the Kyuubi the opening he wants to free himself. I am afraid of what you do to me. You make me vulnerable. Same thing you fear with me. We are exposed when we are with each other, making it so that the other is capable of hurting the other. Tayayu looked at him then pushed him away and dropped to her taijutsu stance and flashed at him at her top speed. She leapt into the air and went to try and deliver a kick to the side of his head but he ducked the kick. As she spun he grabbed her arm and twisted it behind her back. Tayayu tried to pull her arm free but his strength was more than she originally thought. She looked over at him and went to whistle and emit a sound to paralyze him and get the opening she was looking for. Unexpectedly though, as she did that Naruto leaned down and kissed her. Tayuya's eyes widened for a moment before she gave in and kissed her blonde-haired boyfriend back. When he broke the kiss he released her arm and his normal look had returned to his face. He gave her his small smile that he only did when she was around. Now you know where you need to be for the next level of training Tayayu-chan. When you can make me try on that level 1 we'll take it to the next one. Tayayu nodded her head, still partially in a trance from the kiss they shared. She looked back at Naruto and pulled him into another kiss. She thought, fuck it, what's the point of hiding how I fucking feel anymore? Their kiss was passionate, Tayayu pulling herself closer to him as they kissed. Naruto instinctively wrapped his arms around her, making her feel secure. When they broke the kiss for air they were both blushing with small smiles on their faces. What was that for Tayayu-chan?